Hello, everyone, and welcome to Textbook Sports. This is episode 2. The NFL just had their first week of preseason. Let's get this straight. Most of these guys are fighting for not necessarily like they're probably not fighting for first string reps. I think only maybe 2 of them on this list are fighting to actually
Yeah,
be starters
but
this
but
year.
fighting for a spot and getting that paycheck as a 50 on a 53 man versus a practice squad, it's a big deal. So I mean, these guys are fighting for their livelihoods and they spent their lives working for it. So we gotta acknowledge it.
So some of the top performers that I think we found was Darius Cooper for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, this man's just fighting for practice squad at this point. He went off with having 6 for 82 and a touchdown. On a team that is as stacked as the Eagles are, it's going to be hard to get in that wide receiver room because you do have A.J. Brown, you do have Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, and plenty of others that they've been grooming. So I think he's more so, he may end up on the Eagles practice squad, but I think more so he's vying for a position for other teams.
Yeah, I mean that's what the preseason is. It's not just. I mean, for those who watch Hard Knocks, they say this every year, year in year out. They say you're not just competing for a spot on this team; you're competing for all 32 NFL teams. And it's nice to see NFL teams actually go out of their way to put tape on for guys that they like. Obviously, the goal is to retain as much talent as you can, but that's impossible with the roster limits and things of that nature. So sometimes you're just highlighting the guys that work hard, that have the stuff, but might not be ready or might not just be right for their roster in particular. With what's going on, every position group has different needs. The Eagles, with the wide receiver room, I think there's room for a guy like him to sneak on. I think the difference maker is going to be, which we'll probably see, an uptick, 1 in reps, but 2, special teams. Because when you're a guy that's vying for that bubble spot, special teams is where you're going to make that difference. And if you don't impress that special teams coach, you can kind of kiss your roster spot goodbye.
Now, speaking of special teams, there was a guy on here. Now, I don't think he's fighting for a roster spot, but this is a guy that I think is fighting for that second position, maybe even that first spot, and that's Trayvon Henderson. Trayvon Henderson had 30 scrimmage yards, I believe an 18-yard rush, and 3 catches for 12 yards. But he also had the most electrifying play of week 1 in the preseason, and that's a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
I think he's RB1 in New England for one. I think when they drafted him, they had that in mind. You gotta like the kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got more speed than most people give him credit for at Ohio State, because Ohio State had that 1-2 punch with Judkins, who the Browns drafted, versus Henderson, and everyone assumed Judkins was the faster of the two, and I think Henderson is proving everyone wrong. Henderson, he's electric. He's not just a guy that's going to average 4 to 5 yards a carry, which is exactly what you want first and foremost. But he's a guy that can take it all the way across the field, and that's what you want. So, I'm sold on Henderson. I'm sold.
I liked Henderson more coming out of college. When the Browns drafted Judkins, I was very iffy because I was like, man, if you're going to choose between the 2 Ohio State running backs, why would you go Judkins over Henderson, especially if when you're the Browns, they were looking to move off of Chubb. They were looking to move into a new direction and build a new running back room. Why are you choosing Judkins over Henderson?
It hurts my heart to talk about Chubb as a Browns fan. That hurts. So I won't delve any further into the Chubb.
All right, so the next guy on the list is Keaton Mitchell. So Keaton Mitchell is not a rookie, but he is a younger guy, and he's coming off of a massive knee injury. And it was nice to see him get out on the field, and he ended up with 9 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. He's fighting to make the team. That's the honest to God truth. But I think that he has the potential to truly become a very good spellback for Derrick Henry, especially since Derrick Henry is getting up there in age. And I think that he has that opportunity to be that third down
Yeah,
back.
no, I'm with you. I like Mitchell a lot. I think he's picking up where he left off. Truth be told, remember he was electric before the injury. He was really a key piece of that Ravens offense. I don't think he's competing for a spot. I think that kind of solidified his spot there because when you're looking at that team and the things you can do in the run game with Lamar Jackson, at quarterback, you can really build packages where Derrick Henry slides. I'm thinking a pistol package where Derrick Henry slides to that fullback. You got Mitchell behind Lamar Jackson, and you can bring in that college triple option and let Mitchell fly. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see. A guy that had a devastating injury and doesn't lose a step. I love it. I'm all in on Mitchell. I think he's primed for a big year behind Derrick Henry, and if we're in the same fantasy team, so not to give away too much of my fantasy strategy, he's a guy I would want to stash for later.
I don't mean to beat a dead horse with it, but with Henry's age, you have to assume something's got to give at some point with that massive body.
Exactly.
Moving on, I wanted to talk about one guy on defense that I think had a massive game, and that is Khalef Halasi. I don't know. I might be butchering that name. Most likely am. But he ended up with 2 interceptions in his game. So he's on the, I believe, Minnesota Vikings. Defense doesn't get enough love. They really don't. There can't be enough said when you have a DB. And I mean, you can look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that I'm rooting for my team here. They saw a hole in their defense, and they went out and they got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, and that was a massive overhaul of their defense. They got rid of Darius Slay this year because they want to hand over the reins to these 2 young guys. Yeah. Having someone on that back end that can be a ball hawk, can be someone who, helps out on that second level when it comes to defense. It goes without saying, like, there's a reason that they're one of the higher paid athletes on the defensive side of the ball.
I agree. And I think DBs, I think corner is the most difficult position in football. I mean, you just think about all the speed and size you have to defend, run with, and predict, and be a step ahead of. That's an impossible task, especially with all the rules in the NFL that doesn't allow the guys to really use their hands and be as physical as they used to be. It's a very difficult position, but also it's a position. If you're a young guy trying to make an impact, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. If you're undrafted, that is one position where a lot of guys who were undrafted are drafted, 5th, 6th, 7th round, actually end up thriving. A lot of guys that make an impact and are around for a long time, you'd be surprised how many of them are undrafted or 5th round or later, making teams.
Wasn't Richard Sherman a later draft pick?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's with corners, you never know. With corners, it's just, it's such a hard position and it's hard to play for a long time. It's very rare that guys play that position for a long time. So, it's a matter of when your number is called, you go out there and make some plays. They're going to find a reason to keep you because, I don't think there's ever been a team that says, hey, we got too many good corners. We can't take anymore. They said no NFL team ever,
Yeah, even if you have some good ones on the back end of your DB room,
yeah,
cool. Guess what you're doing? You're gonna be a gunner on the sidelines for punts and kickoffs, and you're just gonna run. Go hit somebody.
Yeah,
no. Okay. All right. So we talked about some of the skill players. We talked a little bit about a defensive side. Let's get into what everybody wants to talk about. Let's get into the quarterbacks. So there were 3 somewhat veteran quarterbacks that are fighting for backup positions that had good weeks.
Yeah.
And that was Jarrett Stidham. He was 14 for 15, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. 14 or 15. I don't care who you're throwing against. That's a tough line to get. When you have more touchdowns than incompletions, that's good. Now, like I said, he's 29. He's fighting for that backup position, And I think Sean Payton's happy to have him behind Bo Nix in case something happens. The next is Tanner McKee, who was 20 for 25, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Again, this guy's a third year, so he's a little bit on the younger side. I think he's only 24. Stanford kid, good. I think that if he keeps elevating his play, I believe that he will have the opportunity to maybe go elsewhere. Maybe Philly will trade him somewhere, fight for a starting job. I think that's a huge possibility. And then the last one is Skylar Thompson, who is 20 for 28, 233, 3 touchdowns. He's going into his 5th year. I believe he started a few games for Miami in the years past. And all of these guys are showing the reason why they are on the roster and why they're going to be the second or third string guys. I'm a huge fan of these guys showing off and being able to give their teams assets to kind of dangle to other teams that, like, let's say Aaron Rodgers blows out an Achilles in the first game, you know?
Lord. Okay. Whoa. Now that you're able to host the 3 quarterbacks on your roster without, losing a roster spot, that really helps that veteran quarterback presence when it comes to the active roster. There's multiple reasons why you want a veteran quarterback in there. The guy's been in the league. He understands things at a high level. If you have a younger guy in the room, he acts as a secondary coach in that room. You got to love that. Those guys have a place in this league. I think Tanner McKee has some way to go. I loved his performance. I think he still has some way to go to prove his worth. So can he, I don't want to say double down, but can he stay consistent in this next week? Skylar Thompson, he's got a lot of key snaps behind him, so I think he's always going to have a job. But, at the end of camp, that QB shuffle is always a thing. When you're looking for the veteran quarterbacks to move around, there's always going to be, Josh Dobbs comes to mind. Like, that's a guy that's forever going to have a job. For one, because he's smart. 2, because he's been there before, and I guess his contract value makes him a little bit easy to move. There's value in that, just being a quarterback that knows ball. And those backup quarterbacks, everyone likes to make fun of backup quarterbacks. For one, I think it's the best job in America. You get maybe not all the glory, but you get all the cool gear. You're a millionaire. Yeah, it's Blue Mountain State, but on a higher level. I mean, you get all the gear, you get the money. If you're Chase Daniels, you get the rings.
Oh yeah,
none of the punishment.
He took everything Drew Brees taught him and was like, "Hey yo, let's go teach everybody."
Yeah, and none of the punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't have to take too many sacks to get there.
No CTE exactly, for him.
So, I mean, when you talk about good jobs in America, you want to sign up for. I think being a backup quarterback is one I would be first in line for. But it takes, it does take a high level of skill to be a backup quarterback. So that's not to crap the bet on them. But no, I think those guys have tremendous value. I look forward to seeing what they do. But I mean, the real question is the young guys. You say that, and my mind does begin to wander a little bit. It's like, all right, well, that's great. But what about these young guys? This is a flurry of young guys. And for me, one that impressed me, and I think you're going to be surprised, I start with this one. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart did not suck the way I expected him to.
I expected him to be Zach Wilson 2.0, and he didn't. He was
just preseason, but yeah.
He had a little bit there. Preseason,
but he looked good. He brought great energy. That Giants quarterback room as a whole actually looked good that game. You got to give credit to the whole Giants quarterback room. I mean, even down to Jameis Winston, whom I love.
Jameis Winston is a nation favorite. He is a national treasure.
He's going to be on ESPN one of these days for good. So, yeah, no.
I don't think he'll be able – I don't think he can. I do not believe that man can be on – national TV. I think that he'll be on Amazon. I think that makes more sense
Michael
for him.
Good Morning America. Book it.
No.
Book it.
That man.
Book it. Yeah, you're thinking about it now. It's kind of funny, right? You would watch. You think about it.
I mean, yeah, you watch because you're watching like a live
Yeah, I
train
don't think he
wreck.
would be a host.
Like, don't get me wrong, Jameis Winston's amazing. He's not dirty. He's very religious and yada yada yada. But like, the man speaks in riddles sometimes, and it's you don't know what you're listening to. And I absolutely love it for entertainment. But
Who made Batman famous? Without the Riddler, Batman is nothing. He's just a rich guy in his cave. Everyone needs the Riddler. I mean, he might not be the host. James Winston might not be the host, but he certainly could be a great correspondent. And I see Good Morning America for that guy. He has that infectious energy that everyone wants to gravitate towards. I mean, that's the only man in the world that can steal crab legs and get a deal out of it. So you gotta love the
oh
magic
my
James
god,
Winston. But back into the quarterbacks.
Cam Ward played very well, and I saw that he had a rapport with Calvin Ridley, which I think is huge. Calvin Ridley has been he's been put through the ringer ever since he left Atlanta. And it's just been tough to watch. Like he is an elite wide receiver in my opinion. And finally getting someone like Cam Ward, I think Calvin Ridley has the ability to really show out this year.
Yeah.
They're not going to they may run the ball a bunch with Tony Pollard, but I mean, if he's going to throw the ball, who's he going to throw to? Other than Calvin Ridley, who does he have to throw
Tyler
to?
Lockett. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think Tyler Lockett.
They got Tyler Lockett.
Tyler
I did not know that. I'll be honest with you. So they're just stashing all the small wide receivers.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, Cam Ward, you better have a very good accuracy because small targets everywhere.
He has some targets, and he brought his guy in from Miami. Respo is in there, so Cam Ward's gonna have some targets. The things I liked about Cam Ward is he's not afraid of the moment. It's clear. Could the numbers look better on paper? Sure. It's preseason, getting his feet wet, and let's be honest, that Titans team build is kind of a train wreck right now. So you got to set your expectations to be realistic. I like that his offensive line and his guys respect him. Even this morning, I read that the Titans had a rough practice, and he got in front of everybody and was, hey, we got to lock in. We got to do more. That's what you want. Last week when they got into a scuffle with Tampa Bay during joint practices, Cam Ward got in there, and they asked him, like, hey, when you got into that scuffle, what were you doing? He's like, I was just trying to hit one of them boys in red. Like, my teammates know I got their back and I have theirs. And so, but that's the things I like about Cam Ward. The numbers might not impress you right now, but he wasn't afraid of the moment. He made some rookie mistakes, obviously drifting too far, waiting too long to throw the ball away, and actually sometimes not throwing the ball out of bounds when trying to throw the ball away. Those are things that he has to correct and whatnot that you get away with in college. They, will definitely haunt you in the NFL. But, for your first NFL action, those things I'm looking at. He seemed comfortable in the pocket. He didn't seem scared of the moment. I think the Titans have a good one in him.
Yeah, and I actually like their interior offensive line. Peter Skoransky is someone that I absolutely loved coming out. I really like Lloyd Cushberry as well. And then they got the old reliable Kevin Zeitler, who knows Bill Callahan's line.
Yeah, thank you. Callahan, the best offensive line coach in the NFL.
Right. He worked with him in Cleveland, didn't he?
That's also something Tennessee has going with them. Callahan's the best offensive line coach. There's no doubt in the NFL currently. So that's only going to help Cam Ward excel.
And a lot of these guys are young. A lot of them are very, very young. So having someone like Zeitler there to help guide them with Callahan, I think is going to be huge. And I think that offensive line will come a long way between now and the end of the year.
I agree.
All right. So let's get into this last person who, and I will, let me share this little story here. There were a lot of people talking about how, the Browns fans are getting too rambunctious about how good Shador is. Like he's not that good. And some Pittsburgh fans, you see those Pittsburgh Cleveland rivalry. They're like Skylar Thompson. He did so much better. Skylar Thompson is a fifth-year player. Shedeur Sanders was a fifth-round draft pick. Vastly different. Skylar sees the windows a lot better because he's been through it. He's even started some games. Shedeur, again, fifth-round draft pick. And you and I both had discussions going into this year with the draft. You were very high on Shedeur. You wanted the Browns to get Shedeur early, very early, way too early, in my opinion. I viewed Shedeur as a Geno Smith with attitude. I wanted him drafted mid-second, early third. That's where I viewed his value. He somehow lasted all the way to the fifth. He came out this past weekend and balled out. The man, I absolutely loved watching him play. Even on plays where he didn't necessarily gain yardage, he played very well. Like, he had the two spin outs to lose defenders. Played, and then did you see the where he had his interaction with Myles Garrett?
Keep talking. Yeah, and listen.
And again, this is another veteran that's just given him more.
And what was the key thing Myles said? Did you see the key thing Myles said at the end of that?
I did not.
We're gonna need you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I was not a Shedeur fan coming into the draft. I think that they got a tremendous value at fifth round. I think looking at him in that game, he looked like a player that was early second, late first round pick that should have gone right around there.
Yeah.
Which, to my point, is right where Geno Smith went when he was drafted.
I think he was more polished than Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith benefited from an air raid offense. I think overall, Shedeur's play made him a top 20 player in this draft. The slide I'll never understand. I won't go into that. But I will say, as far as, we talk about Shedeur and Geno, I don't like that comparison. So you and I have talked about that extensively off of here. So I won't delve too deep. It's something we could talk about at another time if we want to get into that topic.
All right, Chris. So last week, for me, you had some trivia questions. You put me on the spot. So we're going to flip it around this time. I'm going to ask you some questions this week. So we're going to stick to NFL trivia. These are going to be primarily draft based. So the first one is going to be for you because of that lovely hat you're wearing right now. The first ever NFL draft pick in 1936. Do you know who it was?
I'll be honest with you. I am not an old head. I don't really go far back. I would guess somebody like Steve Van Buren.
Now, Jay Burr-Wagner, halfback at the University of Chicago, of all places. Here's a better one. Most number one overall picks in the NFL. What team has had the most number one overall picks?
Most number one overall picks. So it's a team that's got to be bad historically. Some people will want to be like, the Browns, but truthfully, the Browns weren't that bad pre-2000. My guess, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No.
No? Okay. New Orleans Saints?
You'll be surprised. You'll be very surprised by the Saints. I was surprised by it.
All right, give me a hint. AFC or NFC now?
AFC.
Patriots were really, really bad before Drew Bledsoe got there. I'm going to go Patriots.
Incorrect. Indianapolis Colts. 7 times.
Okay, that makes sense, though. They had Johnny Unitas and then, nobody. And Peyton and Andrew.
Because we grew up in the Peyton Manning era, so we don't think about it in that context. But yeah, the Colts. So then to flip that question, same question on inverse, there are 3 teams in the NFL that have never had the first overall pick. What are the 3?
Let's go with a younger team. Jacksonville has, Carolina has, Houston has. The Browns obviously have. The Bengals have. The Ravens. The Ravens have not had the first overall pick.
Correct. That's one. There's one more AFC team and there is an AFC team.
The Broncos have because they got Elway.
Mm.
Elway wasn't first overall. Elway was a Colts draft pick, wasn't he? And then traded. He was Eli Manning before Eli Manning.
Broncos, the only player close was Von Miller in 2011 at number 2. So yeah, Broncos. So one last team on the list.
Oh, you know what? Seattle.
Correct. There you go. All right. Top 2 QBs in the 2012 draft. Who were they?
So 2012. I'm trying to think. Was that the last years of Andy Reid?
I don't. I think so. I think that was the transition.
I have to correlate everything to these guys. So Andy Reid's last year means that the Eagles were rocking with Michael Vick. The Cowboys were rocking with Tony Romo. Giants were still rocking Eli. Was this the RG3 year? Okay, so it's Andrew Luck and RG3.
Correct.
Like I had to go again. I have to correlate everything to these guys.
That's mad thought process level that you like. All right, this coach was here, this coach was there, and this is how. Because I remember it more so based off the players. Oh, 2012, and I think also being a Colts fan, like Andrew Luck being generational. RG3 was also generational. Just couldn't be healthy.
I think that's all, folks. Or is that copywritten? Uh-oh. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's all. The book's closed. And we will see you next time on Textbook Sports. Have fun and be safe, guys.